background gets green.
And then when Shane comes on, you have to mute and unmute.
We have to what?
Mute and unmute, not mute, the ones with the little.
We do?
Yeah, if Shane comes on and you want to talk, the mute button so it'll turn it on.
Oh, he's not busy.
No, Okay.
We're muted now, so that's good.
All right, so can we go ahead and start? All right. I'm Nancy Van Etten. I'm the chair of the Lake Advisory Board for Fort Scott Lake, and this is the Lake Advisory Board meeting for December 9th, 2021. We're starting at 7 p.m. and in Fort Scott City Hall. And if anyone would like to join us with the conversation, if you need to, would be calling in to 620-724-9910. 620-724-9910. The participant code is 515698 and the pound sign. 515698 and the pound sign. And Nancy Mays will lead us in the flag salute and the prayer to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, guide us as we gather and meet. Let us give thanks to live in a country where we are free to gather and meet. Thank you for the many blessings you bestow upon us. Please allow all ideas to be brought forth and shared as we discuss items we feel important. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Nancy. Hello, Mr. Allen. You can start passing the cookies around. That'd be great. There's a packet right there. Tom, can you pass that packet around so Kevin can get that?
My dad used to do that. Aha.
Here, I'll show you.
All right, this
Yeah,
packet.
that packet right there. Pass it
For
down.
him, he's late.
Yeah, just to Mr. Allen.
He still gets one. Oh man.
It brings some store-bought cookies for us to snack on because we might get in the need of a sugar to keep going. Hi, are you there, Shane? Shane is there, it sounds like. Who's on the call? Is it muted? So I need to do something here. Oh, there you go. Hi, Shane. We just called the meeting to order. Had our prayer and flag salute. Roll call. Nancy Mays. Jim Harris. No. Dean Stryler.
Here.
Shane Wood.
Here.
Kevin Allen.
Yes.
Harold Martin.
Yes.
Debbie McCoy. Yes. David Stewart.
Yes.
Yeehaw. Good job, people. Thank you. And we have Tom Graham here, city staff, and also Rachel Thompson as our clerk, and we'll be taking our notes and making sure we do motions, get all that information. And we also have Doug Guns is here with the Fort Scott City Parks Director, right? Thank you so much for coming. Let's see, approval. Oh, to observe the meeting, please go to City of Fort Scott's YouTube channel to view proceedings. Approval of October 21st, 2021 minutes. Did everyone get to review them? All right, any corrections or additions that need to be made?
Motion to accept as written.
There's been a motion to accept as written, and is there a second? Thank you, Deb. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. It passes. Thank you. Safety update, Mr. Graham.
Yes, I gave both 20-mile-an-hour signs to the people in the county.
In the county?
And they're supposed to be getting together with the city to put them up.
Okay.
So I will check on that tomorrow. And they should be in the city's prowls because they're going to be in the first part of the roads as you come in on the 190th and the 195th.
Okay,
Be very close to Indian Road.
very good.
Thank you for reminding me.
Anything else going on?
Not really. It's very slow. 4 hours a day is what I work in the winters. And there isn't much going on. I usually get 1 or 2 fishermen a day. That's about it so far,
Okay.
which is good. This is exactly what we wanted.
Thank you. All right, let's go to old business. Sale of the lake lots. Can we get an update from Mr. Allen?
You know, I don't. This is when you wish your city manager was here to help us along with this, but I don't know if the sale has closed yet. I know there was some issues with the closing of the some of the lake lots. I think it's probably a true statement that when the offers were brought to us, they were cash offers, and they were supposed to immediately be sold, no ifs, ands, or buts. And come to find out, a couple of them started not being cash offers, and one of them has went through and closed, I believe. I don't know about the other one, and that would be on the sale of the South Lake lots. I got a phone call because, you know, in all honesty, I mean, you got to look at both sides of it, because when somebody's made a cash offer and then it starts changing its color, it's kind of hard to understand. You know, I mean, I don't know how to say it politically, but we should have got what we were offered, and but now they're being split up in several different ways. From what I understand, the agent, the selling agent now is paying. They're going to pick up the tab and they're going to split, instead of being 2 lots, they're going to split it into 3 lots. And I don't know if how this works, but
I don't know.
But how do you have a cash offer? This Dean Strahler, how do you have a cash offer and then realize you don't have cash when it's time to close? Right? Because
Yeah,
cash offer is a
Why
cash
wouldn't
offer.
the properties go back on the market?
That's what we should do.
Because there were other bids there with cash in hand.
Yeah,
More.
more.
those are great and valid points, and you know it was brought to us. It was just how it was done was kind of ask our opinion of what we thought, and I was with the opinion of, if you've offered me cash, I want cash,
Yes.
and especially with city money.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's different if I, Kevin Allen, decide I want to go back and say, well, you know what, go ahead and go to the bank and do whatever, trade you an old Chevelle or something like that. But this isn't that. This is, we've agreed to do a deal. Let's do the deal, or let's not do the deal. But now it's going back, and that's what's happening right now, I believe, is that they're going to be split into 3 different ways, because from what we were told, the bank wouldn't go for the 2 lots being sold because of the encroachments.
Then we need to remove the bank from the equation, and it needs to go back to be a cash offer as it was intended. This committee, this board highly recommended 2 lots, not 3 lots on the south end.
No, it's okay. So maybe I've misrepresented this. It's still the same amount of property,
Right.
and instead of,
Can you hear this?
They want to subdivide it
Shane?
into 3 lots now.
Okay.
After the city has told various owners that subdivision of lots is not possible at the lake. And now they're going to accept an offer of 2 lots being now subdivided to make 3 lots.
so again, this is just how I understand it. Just so this is what I'm being told. These were the 2 lots at the south end of the lake on the east side. We accepted the offer for both lots, sold as a pair for 100 cash offer, 131, I believe, and 120. Total being about 251. And then the bank somehow stepped in and said, we're not going to loan the money because of these buildings being on that property. We don't want to be involved in that. We want free and clear. But so they said, if we'll come in there and have another survey done, we'll loan you the money on this one, and that one you're on your own on. So that's what's happening right now, from the way I understand it, is that being all split up into 3 different pieces.
But didn't that offer default when it wasn't cash?
Seems like it would.
And that's the other one, the same thing. You know, it was cash. First it was a lower bid, then it was if someone else had a bid, I'd go above you on that bid, and I'd pay cash, and I'd close November 1st. None of which happened.
Those are all true statements.
So what?
So, and I'll tell you how that went.
How many
I
of the
believe
4 lots have actually sold?
I believe 2 that I know of, and those are the 2 on the north end.
2 on the north side. Okay.
Yep. And so those decisions were made by our city manager after getting, and I'm not throwing Mark under the bus. I'm just saying he kind of called around and got a consensus or whatever as to whether everybody was in agreement to do this. And I just said, I'm saying straight and narrow. It's got to be what we agreed to. So.
Was it written in the contract?
I don't know. I can't. I know. Yes, we did have a contract.
If there's a cash offer written in the contract, how can they go back on the contract?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are all
Dave,
great
you
questions.
need to have that mic right by your mouth.
Yeah, you seriously cannot hear that whatsoever when you're watching that.
Do some training there.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks.
Here he is.
Go ahead. Go ahead and say what you said.
I just asked if we had a contract on that property, and if we did, the contract would have stated it was a cash offer. And so why, when they reneged on the cash offer, why didn't we pull the contract on that?
Yeah, when I called Bailey Lyons last week just to find out what was going on so I could, be ready for the meeting today. And she said what she could tell me was it's under contract but not completed yet, is what she said.
I suppose now it's probably awaiting surveys.
Goodness. Oh, gosh.
Which is fine, but they put into the contract that it's cash close November 1st.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, that's just what the contract said, cash close November 1st.
Are you sure that the written contract said that?
Well, that's what's stated in the council meeting, and we can go back
Right.
and look at that on YouTube. All I can speak from is what was said at the council.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what we were under the assumption of, and that's what all the information came
Well,
out. We
no.
had the 4 people here doing their thing, talking about it, and it was all discussed and decided. So
Well,
that's an issue.
as we all know, this whole thing has been so crazy and convoluted. It's taken on different. I mean, from the beginning to the end, it's been chaotic to say the least.
So maybe that's something you can take back to them. That let's get back to the cash offer and just get back to what it's supposed to be. And
Well,
then
absolutely.
We wouldn't have to be dealing with that.
And I'll tell you, this one thing that keeps coming up is this is a committee. That it's
Us?
a lake. Yeah, it's a lake
Advisory board,
committee,
yes.
an advisory board. It's only an advisory board that the commission and the city manager have the say so. So, and I hate that, but that's.
Well, I guess the advice would be is that you look at these things thoroughly before you make a decision on it. That decision was made in about 15 seconds.
Sure.
That night. I mean, nobody went somewhere else and had a discussion. It was just motioned on right away
On
the sale of the lots.
Oh, it was probably more than 15 seconds. It was quite a bit because we were still trying to understand what was even going on because we had new terms thrown at us that night, like escalating.
But what I'm saying is it wasn't, I mean, if you take an offer on a house, you buy a house, right? You're going to give it some thought. You get offers coming in, you're not going to make a decision right away. You
Sure.
Think about it. That decision was made relatively quick.
Oh, it was made very fast.
And I guess as an advisory board, what I would advise is that it doesn't go that fast next time.
Well, and you can
That's
rewatch the meeting, and here's what I didn't like about it. Just like what you said, we have little things that come up, and you'll see me in the meeting say, "I'd like to sleep on this for a couple weeks
Right.
and come back and make a decision before." That way, you get feedback from the public, just as we're doing right now. But it was told to us that night, "These are first and final. You called for them tonight. Make your decision."
Right.
And it was very hastily. We were up against the wall. We had to make a decision that night. So
Yeah, but the city's not up against the wall because it's your property.
absolutely, I agree.
And you
What
can
I'm-
sign a
Still
contract.
your property.
Yeah, it's still your property.
The first and finals were required to be delivered that night.
That's right.
Okay?
It's like turning in a
Not
bid.
decided
Not required
on.
to be decided.
Absolutely, Harold. It's like turning in
You're
a bid.
exactly right.
But we never, the city of Fort Scott, you cannot go back and see that the commissioners ever called for first and finals to be due anytime, because it didn't happen. We never even heard the words first and finals, last and finals, whatever they're called. We said we are going out for not bids, but we're going out for what am I trying to say? Offers.
Right.
Bring your offers to us. This is why I push so hard for an auction, because that's a one and done. we're
Yeah,
done.
it just seemed a little. I
But
mean,
now, so what we said was we want to go out for offers.
Right.
And when the offers came in, it wasn't, hey, we got an offer this. Hey, next meeting we got an offer this. It was, these are first and finals. You asked for them. Now make the decision.
I mean, it seemed a little bush league, right? When you say I'm going to pay cash, you know you're not going to pay cash if you come back the next day and say I need to finance it.
Yeah.
You win the offer, your offer is accepted, and then you say, well, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way.
Your offer's void and your bond.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, it would be.
And
That's the
it
way
will be
it
clearly stated in your request for offers, that would be a written document, that you were looking only for cash offers. If it's not in there, then you do have a problem. But when you went to those realtors and said, here's what we need from you.
we didn't request that we were only looking for cash offers.
No, that's correct. You did.
No, we
But
said
that
we're
was
just
what
looking
was
for offers.
presented as the offer.
Oh, absolutely.
Which could be the tipping point on when someone makes a decision, right? If you say, hey, I need to finance it, sketch, you're like, I got cash right now. I'll go with
I
cash.
think those kids, no cash.
I mean,
Well, like you said, when you're on a panel and you say, rather than to sit here and stew around and see if Dave can go out the money, we'll go with Harold, because we know he's got the money.
Right.
So we make the decision, and now we're here.
well, I mean, I guess as an advisory board,
Better need to be the
it-
enforced.
is that my advice would be to take a little bit more time
Hey,
when we get those
Yeah.
offers.
This is a huge learning curve,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It's
The
still
city,
being learned.
the city doesn't sell a lot of property, hasn't in the past, and this is all kind of a new concept. And even, I mean, it was a toboggle even coming up with the form of sale, how we're going to sell it, because some of us were fighting for auction. Way back in the back of the old leadership, they wanted silent bids. You just turn in a number and we'll just get it to you type deal. So that, at least we moved it up to auctions, and then we went to real estate and we gave everybody an opportunity. All four of them that had bid and applied, we said, we're all going to give you a chance to go out and show us your best. And I think we've learned from this process what we like and what we don't like. So I have adamantly said auction is the way to go, and I wouldn't mind the next time if we're not standing on the front steps saying, put your hand in the air, we can sell it ourselves.
So is
Well,
there
at
an
least get-
ordinance on selling property through the city? Because, I mean, you need to have your rules and regulations to follow.
Oh, that, Deb, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, that's something
I
we
don't,
need to find
I'll
out.
be the first one to tell you I'm dumb when it comes to the
Maybe
rules.
that's something to
That needs to be looked at if you're gonna have future sales of land.
have more.
Yeah, I guess, are there any discussions of future sales of land?
I mean, I think that all sits right here. And
If you have your ordinances, you have a
Right.
set,
Have a
set
standard.
of rules and standards that you go by.
I mean, I honestly think we're going to sell more property. I
Right.
think we're going to sell more property, not just at the lake. We're talking land bank. We're going to sell a lot of property in town. The city of Fort Scott owns a ton of property in town. All these empty lots. We're going to try to fold them over to other people that can either A, build houses on them, B, incorporate them into their properties and build garages or what have you on them to raise the tax base. As we go along also, this probably isn't a discussion for the airport or for the lake committee, but we've had people approach us about selling parcels off at the airport to put miniature hangars in, and I think that's a splendid idea. Right. If they come in and put all kinds of different hangars in, people fly in for the weekend, they put their plane up, jump in their Jeep and head over to the lake and enjoy the weekend. So the city of Fort Scott owns a ton of property over there too.
So based on what's happened, are you thinking it would be good to have some kind of a standard way of selling property? The city would sell property, and maybe there needs to be an ordinance, or there might be one that
Well,
to
absolutely.
follow the standards. So
I think in the future, like I said, these were 4 pieces of property. Thank goodness we didn't do all 9 of them. Because that was again what was pushed on us.
Yeah.
Just sell them all. Just let's get rid of it all.
No.
Well, you saw how fast you could sell them. You're going to sell them. And that's, I
Yeah.
guess my whole thing is someone says cash, it's cash. If you don't have cash, fine. You have cash.
Someone
Well,
else does.
Those, I mean, look how fast they sold.
And we got beat up, and I guarantee you, I felt beat up when I've got a gentleman at the back of the room screaming, "I'll give you $30,000 more than that." You know,
But if you
me.
have it in writing, it's there and they can't argue about it.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, good point.
Skitch, has the land bank set up its structure for the sale of real estate and what real estate that it sells, what the parameters are for qualifying to be sold from the land bank?
That's all still being developed right now. I mean, the
Okay.
land bank's all still being
So-
put together. There's
To me, that would be where you would develop property that's been confiscated, how that's to be sold by the land bank. Property that's donated, and then property that's unencumbered and owned by the city. And there may be a different process for each one of those, but it's all managed out of the land bank. And that takes it out of the hands of the city council, the real estate agents, everybody. And then those structures are developed through consensus, law, and
Statutes.
whatever statutes.
State statutes.
And then the statutes are written to solidify those structures and those manners of sale and delegate that responsibility to the land bank. And I just think that needs to be a suggestion of how to do it.
yeah. Hey, I'm all up for suggestions. Like I said, we're learning as we go. I don't think that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that can give the wrong advice at this point. I know what we've done so far has not been good. You know, it's just been all over the place.
And there are manuals through the Kansas League of Municipalities that give you instructions exactly on how to do these things.
Can
That's
you?
good.
Can
I
you?
gave you a list of all of them at a meeting 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and they're there. I mean,
well,
it
I
has
apologize.
all these state statutes in it, how to set it up.
Well, I apologize for not knowing it. I apologize for not reading it all. But again, call me a dummy, whatever. But I'm trying my hardest, and I'm just telling you what's happening right now. And if you know the statutes and know something a better way to skin a cat, then come forth with it and tell us, because I'm listening.
They're available to the city, and you can. I mean, they give you certain manuals, but they also have all these others, code of how to demolish buildings. I mean, they just have, and you can, as a city, can buy these, and they give you how to set up your policies and procedures to do it.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it's a framework. It's not the only way, but it's a way that has withstood the scrutiny of state government. And so
Yeah,
it
it's-
just
it's-
makes it easier if you adopt that particular form. You don't have to worry about having it scrutinized
Or
by
to go and make
an
a
upper
new
authority.
one. Yeah.
Right. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Right. Well, that's what I know about the sale of the lake property.
All right,
We
thank
hope
you.
it
That was good.
proceeds. Get a cash offer on that.
Yeah, I had heard rumors to that
Thank you,
effect.
buddy.
Jeez.
I
Well,
needed one.
Thank you for the update. The sewer district update, do you have anything for that, Mr. Aller, or do you want me to say what it is?
Yeah, you can go ahead. They dinged us for what, $10 more a piece? Or,
Yeah, that's something the city council voted for.
well, that
but
was
to be able to go into to get more on the maintenance going, and $10 a month for us,
Man,
and then
thank you
also a
then.
3% raise in the actual fee.
What is the 3% annually to perpetuity?
I mean, that again.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. And the $10 a piece. I mean, and that was brought up right. You talk about stuff at the last minute. That was never even discussed. That was at a meeting, and they were gonna raise the rates in town on the sewer rates and the stormwater and the city water and all that. And then right at the last minute, you can watch on the meeting. This is just again, we had a commissioner say, well, why don't we put that on the lake too? And let's just go ahead and put it on the lake ones too.
Unbeknownst to them that we already have a $20-some surcharge on all residents at the lake. I mean, that's gonna bring a sewer bill, even if you don't use your sewer, to well over $50.
That'd be 55, I think, because I think it's 45 now-ish.
Right, it's 45.86.
And that's a great
now.
point, because there's like, and just being honest, there's lots that I own that there's never been anything flushed in it. You know, they're empty lots,
Yeah,
but
but
they have a sewer.
yeah, I mean, that's, we already are under a surcharge for construction.
Mhm.
And now we're getting another surcharge for future construction. It seems a little redundant.
And I think-
There used to be a document, I don't know if it still exists or if it kind of disappeared, that stated that until that 40-year note was paid off, sewer bills at the lake would not exceed $50 in the aggregate of the note and the sewer bill.
Hmm.
And that was part of how they sold it to the people that live out there. Now, if they're actually gonna do this where they're raising it 3%, I don't balk at that. A $10 surcharge just looks like, well, the electric company's getting a surcharge and the water company's getting a surcharge. Why don't we get a surcharge? I don't like that idea. But I think somebody needs to look at this $50. It was actually in the contract.
Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, it was in there, and the then county attorney used that as leverage to get people to.
Sure, vote for it.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything like that, Nancy?
I don't remember that part, but you know, it's a lot of. So we'll
Yeah,
look
it was
at it.
in the original contract.
Yeah. What was the
Yeah.
sewer agreement that got revised and agreed to by the city and the county? They did finally determine a hookup charge. Hookup fee would be $1,000 if someone wanted to hook up. That would
Plus
be
equipment?
Yeah, plus all the other. Yeah, just the $1,000 is to pay for like the time it takes for the engineer, the water folks to come out and hook it up. They have to pay
Costs
for all
more.
the other stuff
Costs more than that to hook up to the water.
to the water.
Yeah.
I don't know that information, but whoever builds out there is going to learn about that.
Yeah, I think out there it's a $2,000 meter.
Is it?
I think so.
For the water?
2000, yeah, for water meter. You know, and again, when we're talking about the $10 surcharge and all that,
Yeah.
you know, if the committee researches it and finds it to be wrong, we need to take it to the committee. You guys need to take it to the commission and present us with that information and say it's not right, because like I said, that was a spur of the moment, never even
Yeah,
discussion, and
it's
got
like,
voted
that's
in
not
that
even-
easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't very right.
All right, well, let's
Is it
go to
right
the.
there? I think she's found it.
No, not yet. I mean, I don't see anything about
Yeah, I don't remember anything about $50 limit. Could be in there. So in the meantime, we'll go on to the smart growth planning update. And first of all, I did provide you with a copy of what Doug Guns has come up with for the improvements at the lake. Nancy Mays and Shane did go to the city commission to talk about the improvements that we talked about at our lake advisory board, and it was approved by the city to go ahead and get estimates on it, and asked Doug to get the estimates, and he brought them to us so we can take a look and he can explain what this is, and we'll have some questions. Shane, did you have a chance to look at this information yet?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay.
Doug, is your mic on?
I think so.
Yeah. Get real close to it, Doug. Thank you.
Eat it. All right. So what I provided you with is I had the city's engineer firm came out. They took all the project lists. They broke them down by different projects and the costs, and these are engineers' estimates, which do not include labor. So the way the city's engineering firm works is they assume that the city would do the work. So just so when you look at these numbers, just keep that in mind that if a outside contractor was to bid on these jobs, they might be slightly higher to include their labors. So on the first page, as long as everything you have is in the same order of what I have, is just, it says utilities.
Yes, that's
So-
the first page.
Right. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is that all the RV camping, parking spots, the tent camping areas, the restroom, the pavilion, everything is contingent on having utilities, water, sewer, and electric. So that's why I put that first, was so that you see what the utilities alone, like the infrastructure, before any RV pads are put in, before any tent camping sites are put in. That, to me, is the most important thing, because you can't have any of the other projects without this first.
Well, you could have primitive camping
You could.
without it.
Yeah.
There's ways that each of the projects can be done without utilities, but the expectation from the Smart Growth Committee that we met, and the expectation was that we would have above standard.
Right.
Get 'em
I
under
get it.
contract.
So like
I have a
the
question.
primitive tent camping
Yeah.
would have like a 110 outlet and a frost-free spigot, so that
And a
it's
what? I'm sorry.
a frost-free spigot and like
Water hydrant.
a regular outlet, a utility, just
In
electrical
the
outlet.
primitive camping area?
Yes.
How many?
Oh,
Like
I think
two or something
there's
like that?
70. Now that can be changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just when I went to the engineer and said, primitive camping at sites, we would like to have water spigot and an electrical hookup at each site, and standard is 20 by 30. So he took the total area and then, okay, well, 20 by 30, you can get 70. Now whether that number, goes forward or not is totally, up to you and up to the city commission. So.
Okay, so let's go back. We're talking about utilities up here, first page, and these are engineers' estimates.
Right.
Who's the engineer? Our engineer?
Yes, it's
Is
the
it
city's
Earl's?
engineer.
Earl's.
Earl's Engineering. It was the firm worked on this, not any particular engineer.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so they assume for somebody to come in and make utility improvements. This is water lines and sewer lines.
Yes,
And
because
Yes.
the
At a pump station.
And electrical?
on the bottom of the breakdown under administrative and legal costs, it says other utilities at 120,000. That other utilities, it's on the bottom.
I see it. It's so sporadic. I don't even understand what they're bidding here.
The other utilities is electric, because they couldn't.
Electric?
Yeah,
Okay.
They would have to go to Evergy and ask their pricing and things like that. So
Okay, so
That would be
Let-
Heartland.
yeah, Heartland's on that side of the lake.
whichever public utility it is.
And again, we looked at that, and that evidently the engineer. Do you know, was he considering all these utilities buried?
Yes.
Okay.
So
well,
on the
That ain't
overhead
You'll have
view,
to.
it's really hard to see, but the water lines there's actual lines where the water lines go. They're just really hard to see from the printout.
Yes.
yeah. So okay. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, Doug. So first of all, the electric. I think a lot of that could come in overhead. I've seen that done.
Yes,
and
I totally agree with you.
yeah, it's overhead everywhere else, all around the whole lake. They drill holes, they put poles in. Every one of your guys' electric, as well as
So-
mine, is overhead. So I don't.
In there, like, it's just an estimate. So if we go to Heartland or whoever the utility is and say this is where we want to go, and they could give us a better price.
Yeah, I mean. So, but the engineer didn't check with the utility company. He just estimated $120,000.
He called them and got a guesstimate, more or less.
Okay.
So that's why I said these are just estimates. When, say, you picked it, you want to do utilities first, then we would get better, more clear numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these are. I mean, to me, I see water line 4-inch.
That was a question. Why do we need 4-inch?
So
Well-
the 4-inch, the way I understand it from meeting with the the engineer, is there are no water lines out there. They stop at the entrance. So we'd have to run a 4-inch main per, this is what the county said, the rural water told us we had to do, was run a 4-inch main up to where the RV camping is going to be, and then break off to 2-inch lines to make the loops and things.
Okay.
So that being said, that would change the dynamic on that side of the lake. Is now you have water.
So
They
okay,
can
so
be-
I understand the 4-inch.
Mhm.
Let's say I understand it. Where's the quantity of 4,000 feet coming in a 4-inch line? Where are we going to put? Are we going to 4,000 feet? That is a lot of feet.
Mhm.
Where are they planning on putting 4,000 feet of water line into the?
It has to come from the entrance, the front entrance, all the way up along the roadside.
There is a 4-inch line that goes right in front of my house.
Okay.
And I live on 190th Street.
I would think the water
So
line's
I
already
know
there.
that water line goes right past this location.
Well,
Okay.
Harold, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering where does everybody think the water's coming from? Because I don't think it's. I could be wrong.
It's
So
rural water,
the-
right?
I spoke with the engineer about it when we met out there, and he talked to rural water, and to get to this location, it has to come from the entrance. That's what he said, and that's just
No, they want a new water line.
That's what they want. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Hey, Doug.
that. I can only go by.
Right.
I can call rural
Yeah,
water and
yeah.
ask them myself.
Yeah,
but-
we're not. Don't kill the messenger.
Yeah,
Right.
There you go.
no.
What are stalls? All these stalls.
Yeah,
Like
4 stalls.
15 stalls. What is that?
What page are you on?
We're
I'm
on the first.
sorry,
We're on
I'm
the
on
picture.
the pic-
We're picture.
Oh, you're on the
I'm
picture,
still on the
okay.
picture, Doug.
I think those are restrooms.
Really?
No.
All right, the stalls where it says 15 stalls and 4 stalls and 4 stalls, those are parking areas.
Oh.
Parking.
Thank you.
Okay.
So-
Thank you.
ADA requirements require that,
Yep.
close access. So those are optional. It's under, I forget which page it's on. The improvement page is.
I'm gonna, for the committee here, I'm gonna
Sure.
make a suggestion because I truly think this needs to go back, and Shane, you correct me if I'm wrong, to the Smart Growth Committee because we have a lot of construction folks on that, or several, I should say, on that committee. But because my idea of primitive camping is like it is at Stockton Lake, no water,
Right.
no electricity, no
Okay.
nothing.
But
You have
it's
access to water
Right.
somewhere.
Yeah, there's
Right,
a hydrant
so-
up here by the road.
yeah.
Hydrant by the building, you
Yeah.
carry your bucket up,
Right.
fill
Yeah.
it, carry it back.
And
Yes.
that's fine. That part is, that's why I had him separated out. We could
Good.
take that figure, that dollar figure out.
Yeah,
just say
but I'm
primitive
just saying,
camping is
I'm
primitive
not,
camping.
I am not competent
Mhm.
to do that. I'm not sure if, Dean, do you feel competent to take this and pare it down and do,
It's
what
each
we-
page is. I had him separate the projects.
yeah?
So
Good.
it's like the first page is just utilities. The second page should be the sewer dump.
Yep. Uh-huh.
The next page is tent camping. So you could take that figure out of the total,
Right?
that 210,000, and then it's just plop your tent down wherever you feel like it. No water
Yeah,
access, no
because the
utilities.
whole thought from the Smart Growth Committee was there's a phase one.
Yep.
And phase one
Right.
was this, and we might need to even pare down
So
phase
right.
one.
So in that thinking with the smart growth was, if we're going to do it in the future,
Uh-huh.
10 years, 5 years, however the time frame is, the utilities
Yeah, I hear you.
being in those locations would save money in the long run. So yes, it would cost. The numbers are scary if you look at
Very scary.
$1 million to put in utilities, but in 10 years, when you go to do the tent camping or expand the RV park or put in restrooms or a restaurant or whatever the idea is, the utilities are there.
Yeah. it's better to have them.
The infrastructure is already done.
Sure. That makes sense.
But it's
And
cost
Shane,
prohibitive.
what's your thought on this? Do you think you can get your subcommittee together and your smart growth committee together and
Well,
review this
Shane, is that
information?
an okay idea? I'm throwing it out.
Go ahead, Shane.
How much?
Shane's talking now.
We heard him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me
No.
see if I can turn you up a little bit. Is there a way to turn it up? No. Just talk loud.
What are you seeing?
Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to digest this number because obviously it's a lot bigger number than what I was expecting,
It's inflated.
and I need to look through it, but I do think there would be some good value in sharing this with the other people on our smart growth committee, because there's a lot of experience in that group on the construction side. And I don't know if we want to have that meeting with the lake board and with this group that's on the phone tonight, or in this meeting tonight with my group,
Sure. We could do
versus
that.
meeting separately
Yep, we could do that, Shane.
and kick some of this stuff around, because this is a lot to digest.
It is, and I don't think we're gonna solve for X equals Y tonight at all.
No.
I think what we're seeing here, and this is my opinion as I sat here having a conversation with Dave, these prices, I mean, I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand. I'm still hung up on the 4-inch water line at 4,000 feet, $80 a foot, $320,000. I have a feeling if I put a home on this piece of property and said I need water to it, I can't imagine even Rural Water saying that's going to be $320,000 for us to bring you a line. I've never heard that before in my life, so I don't understand where they're coming up with that. I'm excited to talk to Rural Water and find out where they come in, because we're just talking about camping spots. We're not going to put out any major fires in there. I think that we've engineered something. It's kind of like when we looked at Cooper Street, and we engineered the Taj Mahal, and knowing we could afford gravel. So, I mean, even as we're sitting here looking at, where was that paper you just had for the boat parking? The engineered estimate is for, where was it at?
308,000 for asphalt, 149,000 for gravel.
$150,000 for a gravel parking area. Yeah, that's why I said I'll do it for 50, and we'll just call it a day.
Sure.
Again,
I mean,
Okay,
we already
now-
have.
I will say these are engineers' estimates. That
I understand. Again, Dad, we're not shooting the messenger, but this, to me,
And you got it, and that's
I
what
could
you're
do
asked
this
to
for
do.
less than the
So,
federal company.
so.
yeah.
In my opinion, I think you guys are right. You go back to the Smart Growth Committee, get some actual
Waste my
contractors
time.
in, and
Look at it.
give some rebuttal. Say, okay, well, like Skitch is saying, I can do it for 50. Well, okay, well,
did we
let's-
pay for this?
No, it was
Is this
that-
figured in their monthly deal?
they just figured in
Oh,
their
I
monthly
hope
deal.
so.
So I wanted to make sure that I can't have them come out that we did not pay extra for this.
Thank you,
Good.
Doug.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Doug.
That was good. Very
Perfect.
good.
Yeah.
I
So
do
we
appreciate
probably
it.
just need to
Yeah.
decide to have
If
a
nothing
meeting
else,
together.
it's a really good aerial picture
Yeah,
with
I
it's
know.
a good layout.
the picture.
I love this.
This.
This is
So
great.
that took what the Smart Growth Committee is, and because the way the RV parking is laid out is to traffic code and to
That's
fit the
good.
RVs in the proper positions, the proper spacing. So if nothing else, we got a good engineered plan to
We
move
do,
forward
absolutely.
Yes,
with.
excellent.
Now, whether the pricing
the
or not,
cost-
we agree with, because I think mobilization and all that's on here is ridiculous.
Whatever mobilization means. I don't know
It's
what
to say, okay, well, you're going to pay a contractor. It's going to say they come from Kansas City. It's going to cost them $57,000 to get their
No.
crews together, their trucks together,
that-
which is to me is ridiculous.
4%.
Right.
Not 6%.
Yeah. So I think the numbers are probably, I would guess, and it's just a guess, probably 50% higher than they should be.
Okay.
And that's
a
just
good
based on
idea.
some of the city jobs that we've done with concrete and things like that. I think the numbers are a little inflated.
Just for me, what is alternate 1, 2, and 3?
So the alternates, what the engineer did, per my request, was to give you different. So alternate 1 is, say they do RV parking in stone instead of concrete. So
Okay.
that's alternate 1. Alternate 2 would be asphalt, and then alternate 3 would be concrete
Yeah,
pads.
and
Okay.
we're stone, for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
So,
good.
and it's
Helps.
Smart Growth asked for
Yeah.
the Taj Mahal. They wanted the best, the greatest. This is what's done in Yellowstone National Park. This is what they have. We want that here at Fort Scott, which
this is cool.
would be great, but
Yeah.
Yes, so it's a lot less.
you'd have to sell 30 more lots.
Yeah. Don't say that. Don't say
Yeah,
that.
for
For
cash.
cash, yeah.
Doug,
I'll write you a check.
I appreciate to no end your time and effort. Thank
Yeah,
you
very
so
much.
Yeah,
very
that's
much.
Thank you.
And I say we table this.
Yeah, I think we discuss this at our next meeting, which should probably
And
be in a month.
The city commission requested these numbers.
Yeah.
You guys got them first.
Thank you.
I didn't get these until Monday afternoon, so I didn't have time for the last commission meeting to give it to them. So at the next commission meeting, I will be presenting all this to them as well, because it was their request
Okay.
from you.
And Skid, should be incumbent upon you to temper that.
Yeah, to table their
Temper
table.
this with what we know to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
I agree with you all. I was a little shocked by the number,
Sticker shock.
2.6,
Yeah, to make some, no.
I'm glad you brought it
Take
to
it.
us. It was probably
Start
good
tomorrow.
that you brought it to us first.
Can I work for you? Is it 2.6?
Well, and I've got so many ideas because at this point in time, I mean, we've got some pretty good employees on Public Works, and we've got good money coming into it. There's more money in the street budget than there's been in 20 years.
Don't be robbing from the street
or better.
budget.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, with that type of knowledge on there, and with the money that we can come into, I'm looking at how much per linear foot and things of that nature. I can't imagine why we wouldn't rent a rock saw, why we wouldn't own our own rock saw, why we wouldn't put a man on it to trench these lines. We know plumbers. I mean, we know everything. There's no reason. I mean, it's capable men that can come in there and do this for us.
That dollar figure, honestly, you could hire a crew. You could hire a whole nother street department and do this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We just got to talk.
Thank you again, Doug.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, you
Thank
did
you
good.
for
So
taking
much.
time away from your family to be here tonight. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
They might be watching.
Wait a
Might be
minute,
hanging
Jill,
up
huh?
Christmas
Maybe the
lights.
kids.
Take some cookies to them.
My wife should be done Christmas lights by now.
Oh.
She should be. Yeah,
No,
she
my
should be able to
wife
get
is,
on dinner right now.
My wife is. I already made her dinner. I was waiting for her. My wife is heading up Christmas in the park.
Oh.
And she's head of the committee,
bless
so
her
she's been in the park the last few days putting up Christmas lights and things
Thank
like
her
that. So
for us on that, too. Wonderful.
Thank you very much. All right. So is there a move to table this until the next meeting?
I would move to
Been there.
table our smart growth and planning update so we can discuss it with the smart growth and planning committee.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved by Nancy and seconded by Harold that we table this smart growth and planning update discussion until the next meeting so we can meet together with the smart growth committee and our committee, our advisory board. Any other discussion? Yes, Shane.
So I'm going to send this info to the smart growth group, and I'm going to give them a heads up that they're going to be asked to attend the next lake board meeting to discuss this in more detail, correct?
Yes, that's it. If we all say yes. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? All right, it's passed. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right, the next thing is I guess one other comment I might make just about the money from the lake lots and Mr. Allen, you can kind of speak to this too about the last meeting that the city commissioner brought up the fact he wanted to make a motion to take money out of our funds for this improvement and put it into demolishing houses. So
yeah, I mean,
can you just briefly
Already?
give a little concise? We told you it's going to happen.
Yeah, and in his defense, go ahead, Shane.
What are they talking about?
Okay, listen. Maybe you can hear Kevin.
Yeah, I'll explain what happened, Shane. At the end of the meeting night before last, we was doing the commissioner's comments or whatever, and one of the new commissioners, Tim Van Hoeke, had a speech that he had prepared, and it was very good, and he had it all on paper and several pictures of dilapidated houses around the city that need torn down or attention or what have you, and wants to be more aggressive in that and the blighted structures in the city limits. And he suggested that this money that's taken by the sale of the lake lots be put towards the demolition and cleanup of inside the city limits because it is city money. That we're tearing down. We voted that same meeting they did to tear down 7 structures. We have been behind the curve on getting rid of dilapidated structures at Fort Scott for probably 20 years or better. We've not been aggressive, and this commission has approached it with an aggressive manner. We've got more money in the budget this year to take care of those structures as well as the streets and things that are important to us. So that being said, Tim and I, we had discussion during the meeting and a little bit after the meeting that, I don't think money's an issue when it comes to being able to afford to tear down houses, because the exciting part is, this is the most exciting demolition part of the city of Fort Scott. We found out the city of Fort Scott actually owns 13.8 acres in the landfill. We didn't know that. For years, I've been trying to approach the city to work out an agreement with the county to eat the dump fees on any type of structure that's been taken back because of taxes or what have you, that the city's going to pay for. If the city says, hey, we need to tear down 10 houses, why should the contractor have to figure in X amount, $50,000 for the dump fees, when the city and the county could work out an agreement? They never could come to an agreement. So now all of a sudden we find out we own 13.8 acres and now we're sitting down. Now we're having conversation. Now we're going to, that equivalates to, if we keep the property ourselves, we can dump 77,000 ton of material on that 13.8 acres. And if we join with the county, we can dump approximately 135,000 ton. So what we're trying to do now is join with the county in an agreement to where the city of Fort Scott's taken care of for 100 years from now. We want to be able to tear down tons of houses, have tons of debris that can go in the C&D landfill.
And they won't have to take money from our lake advisory.
Well,
from
and
the lake.
that's part of it. Tim's plan, and I'm just going to throw some numbers, they're not exact, but it was about $200,000 to do his plan. That was with the dump fees. Without the dump fees, it was right down around $100,000. We've got money. And this is on TV, I know, or computer, or whatever. But for years, all we hear about is, well, we don't have it in our budget. We don't have no money. We're broke. I don't think we're broke. I see a lot of money come in. I see it going, areas that we don't like it go. And we got to take part of that money back from the areas we don't like it to go and put it in the areas we need it to be. But that don't necessarily mean we take it apart from this. That was just the first place that I think Tim had seen where there's going to be an abundance right now. And that has been conversation. A lot of people in town are like, why would we spend money? Why would we sell city property and spend it in the county? Well, you're not spending it necessarily in the county. You're spending it on city property. Right. That's the thing we have to give away. And Tim's he's a user of the lake. He uses the lake. They have a boat, and he loves the lake. But he said, his focus is to get the town back straightened up, and that's our focus also.
Earlier, when we talked earlier, you mentioned that there was plenty of property in town to be sold. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it stand to reason that that's what covers the cost of that?
That's we're actually toying with that idea in the land bank, and
I continue to find confusing, not amusing, is the fact that what we're trying to do at the lake is it's all about quality of life here in Fort Scott. Dean and we're not going to bring RVs to the campground. Harold's not going to camp there. Nancy's not going to use the beach. It's all for citizens of what we're trying to do is for the citizens of this community. It's not for folks that live at the lake.
Right.
It's for people to come and have a good time.
And that was part of Tim's point was, where is our facts and figures on this generate revenue? How long is the payoff going to be on campsites and, to bring back the money? If we're going to spend, there you go, return on investment.
What is it for the walking trails? Do we know that?
And what is it for the golf course?
All great questions.
I was going to say, he does know that one. But there are things you do for quality of life in a community, and it shows, and it attracts people, and it attracts businesses. Quality of life is hugely important when you're looking for a place to be.
And like Doug said during his speech, he can't even get down to the beach. I mean, it's tough to get to the beach unless you're an able-bodied person. You're taking your life in your own hands trying to step sideways to get to the bottom of that hill. So we want to see steps built. We want to see it handicap accessible, and those are all things that cost money. And that's what we said. We want to be aggressive in this. So it was, hey, listen, Tim's new. He's doing good. We all come in with our own opinions and our own ideals, and I want to respect his as well as he's going to respect everybody else's. That's just one person's opinion, and everybody has got their own. So I mean, I think we just stick to the plan and
That's right.
and keep marching forward.
So keep being strong out there and keep the money where it needs to be
And keep
helpful.
representing us on the
Yes,
city commission.
really
Thank you for
appreciate
that.
that.
I'm just a little old liaison.
Yeah, there we go.
Fancy word.
We appreciate
Oh,
that.
don't sell yourself short.
Let's go to the survey.
Is that a short
Yeah,
joke?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all have a copy of the Smart Growth Planning Subcommittee Lake Lot Owner Questionnaire information. I believe there's about 140 surveys that were sent out.
Did you get? Okay.
Thanks a lot, Rachel, for helping get that done through the mail. I think that was effective because we got, I think it increased our return. We had 40, and then I actually got another one today that I didn't put in the information. But I'll probably keep getting more, and if I do, I'll just forward them on. But with that rate, if we had 140 properties out there, and this much return to be a 28.6% return rate, which is pretty good, actually. And we did get information on emails and address corrections and that people that don't live here. So Nancy, I'll provide that to you once.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll update the list.
Yeah, you can update the list. And there, with the survey results, there's 15 full-time residents returned it, 19 part-time. And then there's no one that returned the survey was a VRBO, or there were 2 that used it for rental. And there's 2 that are vacant lot owners that are planning to build very soon. And one was just waiting for a whistle to be removed so they could remove an old trailer.
And it's done.
And it's done, yeah. It just did get done, didn't it? So there's things that are beginning to move on that vacant lot. And the range of how long have you owned your property at the lake, the range was less than 1 year to 31 years. So we had a really good participation, I think, in the survey.
Well, it's a real cross section, isn't
Yeah,
it?
very much. And the average was 11.7 years. That's just, looking at all of the information, all of the years. What type of recreational activities do you participate in? Of course, fishing was number 1 and swimming was number 2. And, lots of people do lots of activity out there. So that was good to see. And everybody enjoys observing the wildlife, which is very good. And other activities, enjoying scenery and paddle boating. That was not, they didn't think it was canoeing, kayaking, or rowing. They do paddle boating. How busy or crowded do you think the lake is on the weekdays? And I just clustered the words that people were using because they use lots of different words. So I just kind of clustered them into these sections. But for basically on weekdays, it's just not busy. There's 20 out of 40, that's half. And then the other was just a little busy. So that was good. Non-holiday weekends, not busy, 10 total. Busy was 19 and crowded was 3. And I agree with that from having lived out there. Any comments on that? And then on the holiday weekends, that's where we get very busy. We had mostly 17 of the 40 were very busy, and then 12 was not too bad. And one said, not busy. But I think it was interesting in the comments. One said, the very last comment under the holiday weekends, we enjoy the lake when it's active and bustling with lots of boats and watercrafts during holiday weekend. So I think that was probably the person that said not. So, but many people are concerned about how busy and crowded it is on the holiday weekends. And the top 3 issues, what I did, I just clustered the information. And with boating safety rules, when I say 23, that's how many times it was identified as one of the top issues. It was 23 times. So that was the top issue that was considered. You're looking at all the frequency of comments. So boating safety and rules was number one for one of the top 3 issues, which we talk about a lot here. So that didn't surprise me. Some of the comments are pretty interesting though, and very similar to what we talk about, Tom. Don't you think? When you looked at that, did you have any comments on that part at all?
Yeah,
You better speak up in there.
if you are at the lake and you happen to see something go wrong, and I'm not there, if you write down the boat's numbers, I'll certainly talk to them. However, after the ticket is written, you will be the witness and you will have to go to court.
Citizens arrest. No.
You could do citizen's arrest,
Citizens arrest. Yeah, that'd be
I
exciting.
advise against
except you can't arrest yourself. They have very good points, very good points.
Yeah.
And I can only be where I can be at that moment.
Right.
And if there were more people doing what I'm doing, it would be wonderful.
I think that's what comes up in what you like, the improvements. That was one of the improvements that people wanted
That's
to
something
see.
we've talked about for about 35 years, I believe.
Yep.
And this is the time to do it.
Yeah, I think
Because now I've had parents tell me it's okay for my son to get out there and do that because he's only chasing his brother around.
But can you issue a ticket to that parent?
No. Well, I could arrest them for endangering the child. Then they could say who was driving.
So you can't give tickets on the water?
Yes, I can give tickets on
So
the
you
water.
could give a ticket to the underage driver?
I could, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you could give a ticket to whoever's in the water.
Yeah, and that's
Certainly.
probably needs to be done. Yep. Okay.
That
The
would happen
problem
once.
is I might be driving over
Someone
to the
said you
college
couldn't give
lakes
tickets
or-
on the water, and I thought, that's not
I thought
right.
you could.
Yeah, okay.
You bet. And so far, the reason there has been no tickets issued is because each person has done exactly what I asked them to do. And I try to give everybody one chance
Mm-hmm.
and explain to them one chance. And so far, no one's come up to the second chance. But I have the tickets. And, if you guys see something that I don't see, we can at least talk to them, which I've done numerous times.
Well, it does say here safety, but have there been any real safety issues? I can't think of any.
No.
Yeah, knock on wood. No kidding.
The most unsafe things that we have is minors driving the little water skis.
Water ski, the jet
Yeah.
skis, you mean?
Yeah, the jet skis.
I mean,
And there again, the parents are the ones that really
Not
should
that
be
any-
paying attention.
Sure.
collisions or anything like that.
So
I
what,
just can't think of any.
I don't know, last year I had a girl pull up in her Sea-Doo up next to my dock, because she was running inside the buoys, and, when I pointed the buoy out, she turned her Sea-Doo around and sprayed me. So,
Yeah.
Did you get
She
the
left.
number?
it wasn't funny, Shane.
did you get the number?
That's old.
Yeah.
And then that young whippersnapper.
Oh gosh.
Did you get the number?
That was not a
No,
girl.
I'm
That was
serious.
Woodstock, by the way.
It's
Oh, yeah, could have been.
Oh, it's
And-
my niece, right?
And
okay.
again, things to consider is off of the water, with the exception of the parks. The law enforcement belongs to
The county.
the county. Okay, the reason I go around the lake in the truck every day is because I can see both sides of your house. And I can see the entire lake with one drive around. I do not have a siren. I do not have lights. Otherwise, I've stopped people in the past with the old truck by turning on the siren, which I do not have.
We lost our leader.
So the second item, roads and public access concerns. So road quality seems to be an issue, and I'm sure that's probably on 195th side of
I
the.
would imagine so.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Our
Uh,
side's pretty good.
So,
Yeah.
maintenance of residential roads and public areas. I'm not real sure what residential roads would be, but
I think they're referring to the cutouts, access,
Yeah,
property access cutouts.
whose
Off of
responsibility
the
would that be?
Well, it used to be in the past that the county would come by and ask who wants to participate in having them chip and seal. And then if you said yes, they assessed you for it. If you said no, they didn't assess you for it and they did it anyway.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's taken place 3 times since we've lived out here. And I think that's what they're referring to.
Yeah,
is
could be,
those,
okay. Nancy,
those
we're in
areas.
roads and public assets concerns?
I vote for better road quality.
Yeah,
You know what's crazy about it?
Evident.
What is that road? 195th?
yes.
What's crazy about it is, how many times have you seen spray paint out there? They come out there and spray paint all the holes, and that's the county side of it. And they'll spray paint it off, and you think, oh God, it's coming, and then I'll take the skid loader and throw some gravel in the hole every once in a while for everybody to drive on, and that's about all that happens.
Well, we'll definitely take
So-
this information to Jim Harris.
Wait,
He
that-
said he was going
that's-
to do it this next year, right?
And that's exactly
So-
yeah, and that's exactly what I suggest. And at this point in time, you could take it to Jim and
You can go up there.
okay.
You can go up there to that.
Go ahead,
little
Doug.
Microphone.
I'm new to this, so
Sure.
bear with me and you might have the answer.
Do you have the mic on?
Kind of. It's coming and going. Might be better. So since I'm
Go
new
ahead.
to this, my question is the county have a representative that, since all the roads and things are,
Jim Harris.
so that person would have the answers to these questions?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering because,
Yeah, the roads are county,
okay, yeah,
except for the entry, just right in the.
I just know that the city has representation. I'm just wondering, you
Yep.
know, if the county could answer these questions for
He's
you.
hunting.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, do we have anything more we need to speak about the roads and public access concerns?
Nope.
Because smart growth has said maintenance of public areas and all that
On
we hope to get
190th,
improved.
coming
Yes.
up, as soon as you come off Indian, coming
Uh-huh.
up the dam, there's several huge potholes right there now. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about, Tom?
Yes.
Is
Now,
that,
is that
who-
city?
I think, is
That's
that,
city up to the end of the park.
The end
To
of the
south
park.
end of the park,
Okay.
that's city.
All
could we
right.
get somebody to address the potholes there?
Thank you.
As soon as you come up 190th off of Indian Road, right by the stop sign, there's
Right.
several huge potholes
Okay.
right there.
East side of the road.
Mhm.
Up on the road, not on.
On the west side of the lake.
No, not in
east
the
side of
ditch.
lake.
Not the ditch beside it, but actually on the road.
It is on the road.
I'm saying not on Lake Road. What's that called? Lake Road.
It's, I think,
Indian
Indian,
Road.
still Indian.
It's not Indian. It's on 190,
Correct.
but it's on the pavement.
Yes.
It's not in the ditch. No.
Okay, it's still on the pavement.
There we go.
Yes, approximately 30 to 50 yards from the stop sign.
East side of the street.
On your
Yeah.
way to.
And they're
where
getting
you-
worse.
And it's getting
And they
worse.
On the way to the campground area, right?
We'll get
Right.
we'll get our
I
people
don't
on it.
have enough bubble gum to fix it.
Thank you.
We'll get it fixed.
All right. Well, water quality and shoreline, there were 19 identified comments. Water quality was a concern. Zebra mussels, boat sizes, shore erosion was an issue that came up several times
Yeah.
about the significant shore erosion. I'm not sure how that gets managed.
Well, this is
because it is the state takes care of it, right?
well,
Shore
they're talking
erosion?
about
Shore erosion. Yeah.
no, they're
That's
talking
sketch how shore erosion gets taken
talking
care
about
of.
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, yes.
Homeowner.
Wake
Yeah,
Forest.
homeowners are taking care of all their shore erosion right now. There's no state or county or any kind of help. And the city's not even taking care of their own shore erosion.
Uh-huh.
So that's something we're hoping to get as well, along with some of this money also. The shore that's leaving in all of our camping areas that hasn't had anything done to it ever, such as the beach area. Now you see we've got some rip that started
Yes.
around there, and we put it about 30 feet, and then we come to a screeching halt for some reason. But we've got all the trees taken off of it now, and that's another thing we're wanting to do is, retain our shoreline of the city of Fort Scott. We're really the only ones that doesn't have a lot of shoreline retainage.
So, a lot of these comments were on the wakeboarding and the erosion caused by the wake boats. And we had comments on the buoys being too close to the middle. And we, as a committee, moved at the advice of Doug Eden, who came to us with some really good documentation about how long it takes a wave to dissipate as it heads toward shore. So that was one of the things we agreed to try, was moving the buoys out away from the docks and the shore. So can anybody speak to, did that help? I don't know. I don't know if it helped or not. If so, I'm for leaving them out there where they are. If it didn't help, I don't know. Maybe we're back to square one on wake boats.
It looks like to me, and that's just my opinion, that people just move the buoys around however they want at some point too.
Well, no, they're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to, but buoys are being moved.
But Tom moves them
I realize
in our
Tom does,
direction. Yeah.
but somebody then moves them behind Tom to wherever they want them.
Is that still a problem?
That's true, but I've not seen it done.
I haven't seen them done either.
Well,
But
as you go around the lake now, except for that one that was way out in the middle, in front.
That was in front of my place. You asked Tom to move it back. He
Yeah.
did,
Yeah,
but it's really not the one that's way out there. It's the next one down.
yeah, I think it was
The
more towards.
Shoreline goes way back in, and that buoy's way out.
It was more
Is that
toward,
down by Barry's?
The one
toward.
across from my place.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, Queens.
actually down by the
Queens.
judge's house.
Okay, but
Where it goes back in by
Mhm.
Ward's.
Got
That buoy doesn't follow the 200-foot from the fixed structure. It's more.
But
like 400.
Tom did a good job trying to keep
Trying
them
to get them that
out
way.
where we told him to put them last year. So again, are they where we
So
want
it's,
them?
they're in too close, we have shoreline issues, they're out too far, we have boating issues.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Gonna put them in the middle.
Makes a bottleneck.
I don't know
is
what the
they
answer
say.
is.
A
See, now
bottleneck.
I haven't
Actually,
seen the
to
bottleneck, and they're pretty
eliminate those
narrow
boats
down
on
by
the
my
lake.
house, because that it comes in, and I haven't seen any danger yet. We're down
Make
the water
anything I
quite
can
a
throw
bit.
at Harold.
I'm curious about the zebra mussels too. Is there a zebra
I can
mussel
see the
problem
mussels.
at the lake?
No,
No,
but we want to prevent it.
Okay,
trying to
prevention.
avoid it because they're in a lot of Kansas lakes.
I see that, but I was just seeing that several people had addressed that already.
Yeah, they want to. It's
They want a
mostly
little more,
prevention.
Oversight?
Oversight.
The
And what we've
volunteers.
done is we've painted the on-ramp, get your boat dry before you come in and when you leave. We've got volunteers that come out there, and the people that I have talked to that have met our volunteers about the lake rules have each thanked me for them educating them. Even though we have the signs there, talking to him made a big difference. Talking to another guy made a big difference. Unfortunately, we had a young man that we no longer work with, and there's room for one more volunteer for this year. But what we've done is make sure that the people know we care about them.
Zebra mussels.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And the people.
and the
And the
people.
people.
Keep
Yeah, we
educating.
don't want them. Mostly
Yeah.
the people.
Keep educating.
We hate zebra mussels.
Yep.
All right, let's carry on.
The next one is overcrowding on the lake and land. Too many boats on the lake at the same time during boating season. Some boats are too fast. It's a tiny area. Will we need to limit number of lots allowed on this lake? You don't want the lake to become overcrowded with housing, taking away the only part of the lake with no houses and docks, taking out the beauty. So some people are saying too much development. And then there were some that concerned about overexpansion and commercialization.
I think
destruction of
the
trees.
city has done a good job with their deed restrictions of limiting that. There's
I think that was a
no
good.
commercial, no.
That's right.
So I think we have
I
addressed
think
that.
that was a good.
Yeah, I've never, and this again, we're all stating our own opinions, and I've never thought that there was overcrowding of boats. I've been out there 1,000 times on 4th of July. You know, there was one time, and I don't think he would have a problem with me mentioning who it was. It was Robert Coon had that big boat out, and he was going crazy out there for a day, and everybody was talking about it. The boat was way too big for the lake. He's since sold the boat. You know, but other than that, everybody pretty much level headed. And you know, one of the things that we talk about overcrowding, you know, it comes up time and time again. People say, well, you know how it is, more houses, more boats. And I just would probably go to my grave thinking that that's not a true statement because there's 100 and, how many houses did you say is on there
There's
now?
140.
And I've never seen 140 boats on that lake. Never once have I ever seen 140 boats, and I've probably never seen 10 boats that are lake owners that are out there doing circles. I mean, they're on their pontoons. We know exactly every night. Oh, there's the Wards. There's Tim and Marianne. There's everybody. But you know, that's everybody that's residents are pretty cool about everything. You know, I think. And you're going to have your trouble when it's you know everybody comes out and decides to get their wave runners out and jump in. All
Again,
that.
our hands are tied because of we can't restrict, even though we try.
That's correct. We can't restrict according to the state, the size of the boat, the speed of the boat, the noise that the boat makes. And in defense of the guys with the big boat that one day, they did buy their lake permit. What would you like for me to do?
Yeah,
I
but if
thought
it's
there was
oversized,
a size restriction on that.
there is a
lake.
size restriction.
Yeah, 24.
But it's unenforceable.
It's a city. It's just a city code.
Okay, I
So
looked
it's a
into that.
suggestion.
I looked into that 24-foot ordinance. It is enforceable. I was told that the COVID grant was the reason that they couldn't enforce it.
The COVID grant.
That I was told that by the city.
Hasn't the 24-foot rule been in effect before COVID?
Ever.
Long
Yeah,
time before that.
Yeah.
But that's what
Since I was a kid.
COVID's been around.
the lady we spoke of earlier today. That's what she told me. I have not found anything that says that ordinance cannot be enforced.
Okay, who I talked to was the state in Topeka.
Fish and game.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Because
that's
we
who
get
they told me.
monies.
Because of
stock
the
it.
original lake being involved as a watershed.
I wish we knew. I mean,
Yeah.
I would like
Well,
a,
And then it would
written
take the city-
determination.
And it would take the commissioners to set the bounds.
I think that'd be pretty easy, Tom. Wouldn't it be just a conversation to have with Jim Bassoni?
Yeah, I've talked to him about it.
And Jim says your hands are
I
tied?
cannot enforce it.
I find it. I don't know. I mean, I
Please show me the ordinance.
Okay, I'll
that
ask.
says
it should
I
be,
can't.
yeah, just give us the
It
ordinance.
would be
Yeah,
a
Tom, you'll
state.
get it for us, right?
Okay.
You know what?
Thank you.
I mean, is that something, Doug, isn't that something we could do too? If you could jot that down to jot my memory, and you could do that as well if you would, please, just to find out the ordinance on the lake. I can handle that.
The city ordinance is 12.
But I'm just saying our city people can.
Exactly.
handle
So we
call the
have an
state.
ordinance 12 that says we can enforce it. If the state has something that supersedes that,
Sure.
I want to see it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just leave it to, we'll handle that part of it. We'll have our city manager find out from the state what the ruling is, and I'll have it at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
So, and it would be the same with noise, probably.
Yep, the
and-
noise, if there's a noise ordinance of
and
sorts.
speed. So size, noise, speed.
We are
Right.
so
Good
old.
job,
And
Nancy.
you can set the number of boats on the lake.
The size, the speed, and the dang noise. And if you splash Harold again, I
Let's
swear.
just do pontoons only.
And while
Yeah.
we're going down this road, Skitch,
Yeah.
in that city ordinance number 12,
Mm-hmm.
it states that all boats will have a city sticker on them.
Mhm.
Okay, all boats. That includes fishing boats. They are not exempt.
Oh,
But for
they are
some
exempt.
reason,
Yeah,
everybody
exempt.
thinks they are. not
There is
in the
a-
ordinance.
Well, it might be in this, not be in the cities, but I think it's in the,
It is in the.
we had a
We got
copy of that.
ourselves a fight.
Do.
Gloves are
Yeah.
off. So, so you're saying fishing boats don't have to have them,
No,
Tom?
they don't
That's
have.
correct, they do not.
They do not. That's because of the state wildlife.
Because they
Okay,
stock it.
based on that,
Yeah, state license. They have state. Go ahead.
okay, based on that, I shouldn't have to put one on my pontoon because I pay for a state fishing license, hunting and fishing.
Yeah, but you're having fun. You know that. Pleasure. That's what Carrie says. Well, we do have a lot more fun on that than we. It's like we fish all the
It
So,
time.
sounds to
a
me like
bass boat?
what's good for the goose isn't necessarily good for the gander.
Good.
I don't understand why a fishing boat wouldn't have to have one.
It was like, there was a, I
Okay,
thought it was
Tom,
a size
get some work done there, okay? Tom will bring the.
like a 12-foot boat, just a.
Check.
I think the
Did you write
bass
that
boat's
down too?
good.
We got that down too. We're gonna find out the ruling on
Do
that.
it.
Okay,
And if we
Fishing
need to
too.
do a fee for fishing boats, then we'll do a fee, right?
Rachel's gonna figure that out. So when
Okay, Rachel.
Rachel's in charge of that. When she comes back the next meeting, you're gonna have your information.
well, then we're in good hands.
Okay. Increased cost of living was another concern, and it's mostly about property taxes. And it seems the only way.
Taxes are high,
Yep.
taxes are out of sight, taxes are,
Sky high.
I did speak to Bob Talbot this week, and he wanted me to mention the taxes are too high because he wasn't going to be able to attend the meeting.
Thank you. Yeah. And the way we can manage that is having better economic development for our county. Say, people, stop spending all that money. Let's keep the mill levy
Hey,
down, the appraisal.
Ain't nobody at this table gonna lose any money out there.
Oh,
pretty
It's gonna make less.
please. I have too many other hobbies.
yeah, the additional comments were interesting.
Okay.
But it
Yeah,
does
bad
look
of me to
like
say.
some people could use some help with their property maintenance.
You talking about your neighbors, Nancy?
Yeah, I think so. Top 3 actions you believe can be undertaken to benefit the lake. The number 1 was roads and public access improvements, and that's one of our biggest goals is for the Smart Growth Committee and the improvements that hopefully will be made out there at in our campground areas and such. So it has a lot of good information there, Doug. Improving our East Side Road is that got 6 votes. There we go. But a lot of good information there. Regular trash cleanup along the roads and camping area.
We do that daily.
It'd be nice to have a mini marina.
Pardon me?
Concession stand to include light food and ice cream. Use high quality ice cream provider to compete with ice cream places in town. Oh, that's exciting. Make the lake a destination spot for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights for families. That means families from the community. I like that too. That's good. Food trucks is good, yeah. Some good ideas there.
Very good ideas, yep.
Food trucks. And there's food trucks around now. They could decide to come out maybe once a week in the summer, in the evening, or.
Yeah, all you really need is a blast.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
But I mean, those are all good suggestions. Those are all good suggestions, but I mean, there's some of them that could be brought forth really fast. As we talked about last year at one of our meetings, I had some individuals come to me and they said they'd put on a concert. And I think that would be great. We didn't have enough time to get it around in the fall, but maybe a big grand opening for the spring season would be for Larry and his band to come out there and tie one on at the beach area to where all the boats can be out there and enjoy it.
Like
You know.
social.
Recognize Taiwan on at their ages 6 to 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Really go for it. That's where the ice cream comes in. It's an ice cream social.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming together. Yeah, good ideas.
Boating
So-
safety and rules, that was a big one there. For how to improve, to benefit the lake. So I think that's something that, maybe Tom and you and Travis can kind of roll that around and some of your, volunteers, and just more enforcement. And that might mean you need some extra help in the summer that's actually paid. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
On those holiday weekends, and sometimes it's hard to get people to work on the
Well,
holidays.
smart growth has a lot to digest.
Yes, they do.
That is another thing too, Nancy. We might have Rachel jot down is we talked about the SRO officer. We have school resource officer that's employed by us in the summer. He has some time that could be given up, I believe, that could help on the weekends at the lake, the big weekends.
That would be great.
That'd be really nice.
Just
Yeah.
one more body and boat out there.
That would
be-
help. Yes.
I was going to ask, what are you going to do with this survey?
Well, the survey, I think the Smart Growth is going to be reviewing it also. I think Travis and Tom need to really review the information on safety. I think is really important. We've hit that a lot from the very beginning of when we started our advisory board. And there's some good information here, at least to back it up, that this is what people are really wanting and needing out there.
The original idea behind doing the survey was through the Smart Growth Committee. They discussed on their committee all these nice improvements that they'd like to see, especially in the camping area and what we went over earlier today. But before we just embarked on that program, they thought it was kind of important to see if they were going down the right path as residents felt the same way, or that residents felt the same way. So that was the intent of the survey, was to try to, just reinforce that what they're doing is something that's desired by the residents of the lake. And again, as important, I think it's something that's very definitely desired by quality of life in this community, is to improve the lake as a park.
Thanks, Nancy. Well said. The water quality and shoreline, just some other additional suggestions. Fish cleaning station would be nice out there. Fish management. Boats and jet skis not being properly flushed before being put into the lake. Again, it's about zebra mussels. Lake valve and checking dam integrity. That's supposed to be accomplished, I think, in this next year. Budget year is what the fix the lake drain valve. That's what is supposed to be fixed this year, is my understanding. Keeping the lake clean and limit algae. Test and take care of the water. That a lot of that's up to us. If we see something, we got to say something. And getting educated if you live out there. And restrictions on wake boats and wake height. That's still an issue coming up. It's a tough one. Overcrowding on lake and land. There were eight improvements listed. A lot of limiting, but then the last two, let's see, there was two that were sell more undeveloped lots on the west side south of the last home, sale of some city land to current landowners. So that was some suggestions we've heard in the past. Like there's property across the road from you that's owned by the city, if that could be an option for someone buying that and putting something over there. So that was some good information. Any other comments on this so far? It's a lot of information. What do you think, Shane?
It's a lot of information. I'll send it to our group. I mean, there's obviously some themes that you're seeing here. I don't know who's going to decide on how we're going to address maybe some of the common items that are being listed.
Yeah, so I guess at our next meeting, that would be something that we can coalesce some information around. Can you say that again?
sounds like he needs to start writing more tickets. You got to get meaner.
Yeah, Tom? West side of the lake. Okay, all right. How would you describe the boating rules posted at the lake? You know, actually, most of them were fair to excellent. I thought that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very clear, but getting people to read them is probably not what they came for that weekend.
So you got to just keep having a presence there, and for the volunteers, I think, on those busy
I
weekends.
think the volunteers are gonna change that completely.
Yeah, that will help. You're in charge of making sure that continues to keep happening and get enough people there. And then for how would you describe law enforcement at the lake? It was like split about half and half. That good, very good, and excellent. There were 14, and fair and less than were 15. So half and half. I don't know if that was split between each side of the lake. I don't know. But there's some good comments there. Lake Patrol is always available and doing a good job. Cannot write tickets, so that's not true.
Depends on what tickets they're talking about.
Yeah, what tickets you talking about? Okay. Yep.
I agree with all of this.
Yeah, now that one's not right.
Well, yeah, got that one, but I think the most important part is the second one from the bottom, where it says we need more help.
Tom is great, but he needs
definitely
more
need
help.
more people.
I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah. So this backs it up for you pretty well, Tom, what we need to be doing out there. Describe the lake's water quality. Good was 14, and 11 or less was fair. So I think it's pretty good. And 5 were unsure. So maybe that's people that don't really know what water quality should be. I don't know. Or does it matter to them? I don't know. And just the descriptions of some of the concerns with the algae, the smell, the clarity. Zebra mussels are listed again, just a major threat. We need to keep them out of there. Hopefully we can keep it that way. Interesting comment was about chemical contamination from the city/county spraying and homeowners' lawn care treatment. The lake as a whole needs to be careful as to what flows into the water. That's why I'm always picking up trash. But the fertilizing lawn treatment is an interesting dilemma. Doug, do you have a comment about that? Just with, you can, that's just it. We're very careful with what we do on our property, but is it an educational thing that we need to educate people?
I think so. Most lawn chemicals become inert when they hit the soil. They're only absorbed by the plant. So, if it's not green, it's not going to take it up. So depending on when you're applying your chemicals or your fertilizers, timing's the biggest thing. It's like most of the areas that we maintain, we do spray buffer areas around trees and things like that. It helps, cut down on maintenance just so we don't have to weed eat, things like that. We use glyphosate or like a Roundup product, but it's inert when it hits the soil. It only affects vegetation and it's non-leaching, so it's not going to make it to the lake. So we try to take as many precautions as we can. We don't spray within what's considered the state's buffer zone, within 15 to 20 feet of the water, things like that. There's special chemicals for that. So if anybody, they're not cheap, but there are special chemicals for vegetation control along the water side, stuff like that. So
that's
I think most of it is just education. Okay. If I tell anybody, if they ever have any questions about what my employees are doing, call me and ask them. Most of them are pretty knowledgeable about what they're applying or what they're spraying. They can tell you what it was, or they'll say, here's Doug's number, call him.
Okay.
So, if you see a lawn care company, most of them are licensed and insured, stop them and ask them. Legally, they have to tell you. They should have SDS sheets in their trucks. They should have, if anybody doesn't know what SDS sheet is, safety data sheet, it has what they're applying, the rates. They should have a label with them. They should have the bottle with the correct label on them. If you see a lawn care professional with like a Gatorade bottle pouring into, that's illegal. You know, it has to be the actual manufacturer's container that they're, you know, have chemicals in, so that if a resident asks a question, they can say, this is what I'm spraying, here's the label, here's the SDS sheet. That's all, you know, there are laws for that. So
Okay.
ask questions. Definitely ask questions
All right.
to anybody. You see somebody applying something, fertilizers, chemicals, ask.
Herbicides
Thank
are
you.
not usually the problem.
Yes.
It's insecticides.
Mhm.
And insecticides will leach in the soil into the lake. And there are certain kinds that will damage the aquatic life.
So it's the
very severely.
insecticides that are more of a concern.
Much more of a concern.
There, to build on his point, there are insecticides that have a residual that stays in the soil up to, you know, a year.
Wow.
It's a cost savings. We do it at the golf course. There's some insecticides that we put down that last, you know, 15 months, and the longevity is what makes them great. But then again, like he's saying, they can move if you know, spray. And there are laws against spraying along waterways and within certain distances and things like that.
There's probably a certain distance that you should keep it away from water then.
Yes. So I will let you know that Kansas has pretty lax laws on chemical applications compared to other states.
Roundup.
I'm from Maryland, so you can't spray water without having a license.
Oh.
You know. So,
Thank you.
like I said, if residents have issues or they have questions, definitely ask. Stop these, you know, stop the lawn care professionals. Ask them questions. Ask them what they're spraying. Ask them why they're spraying it. You know, if they're spraying it because, oh, it's part of the program that we, you know, if you have a target pest, that's when you apply. You know, if you have grubs in your soil, you know, you test for them, then you spray.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just putting it on a program and charging somebody, you know, I charge them $37 a week and we apply on an interval, that's wrong. They should be spraying only when there's a pest or there's a threat. There's a threshold level where you people, you know, you look at your lawn and say, okay, well, I see bad spots. That's your threshold level when you want an application made. Other than that, it should only be if there's an issue. You know, if you have fungus, then you spray. If you have insects, then you spray. You don't do it preventatively.
To prevent it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments on that section?
I just had one for the earlier. Shane, are you still there?
Shane? Yep.
When you filled out the survey, did you feel guilty when you wrote Tom is not the right guy?
That's supposed to be confidential.
My bad.
Oh, goodness. Naughty. Okay.
Everybody's got haters, Tom.
Yep.
Welcome to my world, baby.
Are you interested in? Well, there was just one. There was just one that said that. I didn't put only one.
Oh, that's
One out of 40.
Sorry, Tom. You're fired. You're fired, Tom.
1 out of 40 isn't bad.
She filled out a survey. That's good.
Well, the last question. Yeah, plant trees. Are you interested in participating in stewardship activities and projects at the lake? And it was encouraging. We had 17 people that said yes. 17 out of 40. That's almost half of the survey respondents. So that's a good thing. So that means we have people that care. I did not list their names, but we will. I'll put a list together, and then we can have that available and encourage certain projects potentially. People that want to help. So that's a good thing. Cleanups. Go ahead. Very. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Grandkids. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. People want to do some social stuff, and you know, maybe with this COVID clearing up, we can do some more social things. So I don't know if that's something we need to consider, is having, you know, someone or some group that actually does organize some social activities and things that we might want to do. Ice cream social. So what we'll do is we'll review this with the Smart Growth Committee. Maybe all of us kind of come up with some conclusions on this. Any other recommendations, people? Any new business? Public comments. Go ahead. You got a public
Yeah,
comment?
I just thank you guys for gathering again and appreciate you paying attention and watching the meetings because obviously I can't do it all on my own. And, it is, although the comments were made at Tuesday's meeting about taking the money and doing other things with it, you could take that as disheartening, but that's just, again, people's opinions and where they think. And I think we'll work together with the new commissioners pretty well. I think that they're going to have great ideas that they've been seeing from the outside looking in, and they're going to be pretty active. So I think both of them that are elected are going to be active, and that's always a good thing. Controversy on a board is not a terrible thing. So I welcome it, and something positive will come from it.
All right. Mr. Tom.
Yes, I have a comment for Doug. Doug, we owe you a big thank you, and the improvements that you guys have made out at the lake, we do appreciate very much. You guys are doing a wonderful job, and thank you.
Yay! Well done. Harold, do you have anything you want to share? Mr. Stryler? Dean? David? Nancy? Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And
The next meeting is?
yeah, we need to decide on that. It's too soon. A couple months. Think we'll still have some money in the bank by then?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Oh, goodness. This will be February. Do you want to stick on a Thursday night? Commissioner Harris, yeah. I told him that people are going to give you a hard time about you being here.
A special thanks to you, Jim, for coming to the
Yeah,
meeting
Jim, come to the meeting.
on Thursday at 7.
Come on, Jim.
And good hunting.
Yeah. Tom's got his first ticket waiting for you when you get back.
Yeah. So, with the
I prefer not Thursday nights. I'm normally working on Thursday nights.
Oh,
I
okay.
got someone to cover for me tonight, but yeah.
Oh, good.
I say go back to Saturday morning.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Saturday
Okay.
morning.
And what do you think, Shane, with your subgroup committee?
That was fine. I got some. It's a busy time right now. I got stuck in meetings and I got to make money, so I don't care.
Saturday in February? Probably around the 12th, you think? 12th of February. February 12th. People, is that good? Gonna do 9 o'clock? Yeah. You'll be in Florida? Oh, is it? Oh. Oh, gosh. Is that bad?
Need someone to carry the bags?
Okay, Saturday the 12th. Is that a problem for anybody? 9 o'clock here? Yeah, 9 a.m. And then I think the focus really needs to be on this right here. This improvements and okay, yeah, that would be great. That would be very good. And hopefully you can be in person, Shane. That'd be good. And there we go. Okay. Thank you, Shane, for being on the phone. Thank you, Doug, for coming. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We're going to make it. Yeah. All in favor? Aye. Okay, Nancy made the motion. David seconded. We all approved.